Hey Lions fans! A bit of news recently broke that took everyone by surprise and caused quite a stir online. But before we dive into today's news, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things Detroit Lions. Trust me, you won't want to miss any of the action, especially when we have big stories like the one I'm about to share. Okay, let's get started. Wide receiver Jameson Williams made headlines for all the right reasons in Monday night's thrilling win over the Seattle Seahawks. Williams put on an impressive performance, including that jaw-dropping 70-yard touchdown reception where he turned on the Jets and left the Seahawks defense in the dust. But what's got everyone's attention today isn't just his performance on the field, it's what he did afterward. After scoring that long touchdown, Williams celebrated by dunking the ball between the uprights. And if you're a longtime Lions fan, you know exactly why that celebration was so special. He was paying homage to none other than Calvin Johnson, Megatron himself, who was known for similar dunks during his Hall of Fame career. But while it may have brought back fond memories for fans, the league didn't see it the same way. They fined Williams $14,069 for unsportsmanlike conduct. Yes, you heard right. The NFL decided to lighten Williams' wallet for what seemed like a harmless and sincere tribute to a Lions legend. But it doesn't seem like Williams or his teammates are letting it get to them. After all, it was a game to remember. Lions QB Jared Goff had high praise for the second-year receiver, calling him a one-play touchdown guy, and even added that Williams strikes fear into every team he faces. And let's be real, when you can run through an entire defense like that, teams are definitely going to be on high alert. And it wasn't just Williams who got fined. Defensive lineman Levi Amuzarike was also penalized $13,849 for roughing the passer. It's tough when penalties like these pile up, but head coach Dan Campbell and the rest of the team seem focused on what really matters, getting those wins and building momentum as the season progresses. Speaking of momentum, how about the way Jared Goff has bounced back? There's been some talk lately about Goff's start to the 2024 season, with critics saying he's looked a little off. Well, he silenced the doubters with a breathtaking performance on Monday, completing 18 straight passes at one point. Dan Campbell shared after the game that he had a good feeling Goff would play well, mentioning how the veteran quarterback seemed to find his groove again during the week leading up to the game. Campbell spoke about Goff's mental toughness, saying, "He doesn't get nervous about things like that. He's no different than anybody else. He just goes to work." And that's exactly what we saw on the field, a quarterback who wasn't intimidated by the noise, who trusted his preparation, and who made plays when it mattered most. It's games like these that show why the Lions are a team to be reckoned with. The chemistry between Goff and his receivers, the aggressive play calling, and the never-say-die attitude that Campbell has instilled in this team, it's all starting to come together. And even in the face of some questionable fines, the players are showing that they have each other's backs and are ready to move forward. So what do you think, Lions fans? Do you think the Williams fine was fair or was it over the top? And how do you feel about Goff's performance? Do you think he's ready to lead the Lions to a deep playoff run this season? I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments below. It's going to be an exciting season, and now we're going to look at 5 players who really need to step up their game as we head deeper into the 2024 season. Let's get right to it. First, let's talk about cornerback Terron Arnold. It's been a challenging start for the rookie, and his early numbers aren't exactly what we expected. Through the first 4 games of 2024, Arnold has posted a passer rating of 98.4, and his Pro Football Focus grades tell a similar story. His coverage grade is below average at 48.8, and he's also struggled against the run, scoring a 51.6 in that category. His overall grade? Just 47.6, which is well below where a first-year pro should be, especially with such high expectations coming in. The biggest concern, however, has been his inability to avoid penalties. Arnold has already racked up 8 penalties in 4 games, including 3 alone in our Week 4 win against the Seahawks. If Arnold doesn't tighten things up, the Lions secondary could have some tough outings against high-powered offenses in the coming weeks. Next on the list is tight end Sam Laporta. Lions fans, we all know what he's capable of. After an incredible rookie season where he caught 86 passes for 889 yards and 10 touchdowns, it's safe to say he set a high bar for himself. But this year, Laporta just hasn't looked like the same impact player. So far, he's caught just 12 passes for 147 yards and has yet to find the end zone. Granted, part of that could be due to the way the offense has been running, but you have to wonder if it's time for OC Ben Johnson to get more creative and get Laporta back into the mix. We need more of him if we're going to maintain our offensive prowess. Now let's switch to defense and talk about edge running back James Houston. This is a tough one. He was expected to be a key contributor to our pass rush, but through the first quarter of the season, he barely saw the field. He's only played in 2 games, logging just 17 snaps, which is just 12% of his defensive snaps so far. And his Week 4 performance against Seattle? It wasn't pretty. He was the Lions' lowest-graded defensive player with a 29.5 from PFF. If Houston doesn't find a way to make his presence felt soon, his time in Detroit could be in jeopardy. Another player who needs to get back on track is veteran center Frank Ragnow. He's been a staple of the offensive line for years, but this season has been a different story. At 28 years old, Ragnow is still a dominant run blocker, but his pass protection skills have noticeably declined. His PFF pass blocking grade currently sits at 47.1, the lowest of his career and the 6th lowest among all qualified centers. Additionally, he had to sit out Week 4 against Seattle with a torn pectoral muscle, an injury that could continue to hamper his play even when he's back on the field. We need Ragnow to get back into shape, not just for the sake of the offensive line, but for the stability of the entire offense. Finally, let's talk about linebacker Jack Campbell. He's had a solid, if unspectacular, start to his sophomore season, but with Derek Barnes now on injured reserve, the pressure is on Campbell to elevate his play. In 4 games, he's been active, recording 24 total tackles, 4 for loss, and forcing a fumble. His run defense grade of 68.4 is respectable, and his overall PFF grade is 67.1, not bad, but not great either. Where Campbell has struggled is in coverage, allowing a passer rating of 106.7 when targeted, and his pass pressure hasn't been as effective either, with a grade of 48.6. If the Lions are going to bolster the middle of the defense, Campbell is going to have to take his game to the next level, especially with Barnes out. So, Lions fans, what do you think? Which of these players do you think is most likely to change things in the coming weeks? Who do you see stepping up to make a bigger impact on the field? Let's continue the discussion in the comments below, share your thoughts and predictions. And remember, if you enjoyed this analysis, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates as we continue our journey toward the 2024 season. And go Lions!